Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Refi Weekly Call. It's been a pretty fast-moving week. We actually skipped last week. A lot of us were in Singapore doing the thing and also at Funny in the Comments. So we'll share some updates from there. There's also NDC Election is the last day today. We got some refi candidates running up, and there's things regarding a funding proposal that we're working on as well. But most of the updates have been around Potluck and the voting framework. Here is the agenda. And yeah, so NDC has the last day to vote. There's been over 725 votes. The election's been pretty crazy. A lot of last minute things happening, been very competitive. I'm not sure. The only person that's here that's winning that's from the refi camp is Cameron. Also, Chloe is in the top 15. Odin is tied for 15th place. So let's bring him on over to represent the refi camp. And then in terms of here, I'm losing. Anyway, yeah. And then I don't think anyone directly from the camp is from the Transparency Commission. He's not doing so well, and Danny's not doing so well. So yeah, that's the status of the election. That doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is we get our funding request that goes through. And so yeah, this Pike Speak, if you go to neardc.org/Pike Speak, they've made this available for the election. There's a bunch of cool components that actually let you see who's voting for who, the distribution of voters, things like that. But enough with that. Some updates on Potlucks. We've been onboarding a lot of analysts and devs that have been wanting to contribute to the project. A lot of the stuff we've been doing is on the design and branding and also the core contracts before we move to the box components. Still working on the branding, kind of finalizing the typefaces and the kind of brand kit, as well as some low fidelity for the project registration, the project page and the project details as well. We kind of finished the quadratic contracts. There's some things on there, and so it's the pot factory and the pot deployer. If you go to the core contracts, you can kind of see it there. So yeah, that's being pushed on, and also the registry contract, which lets us actually add projects on, which will be integrating into the Near Horizon flow. Speaking of Near Horizon, we're part of the cohort, the Horizon 1. I think there's around like 20 plus projects. It's a daily cohort, so be on the lookout for updates for that. And also, we're adding more requirements on the backlog. So if you go to PotLock.xyz/backlog, you can see all of that available there. We still haven't finished the donation contract. It's a simple donation contract. We'll be adding to that and starting the boss components around next week. Designs still kind of working to this. If you go to the Figma PotLock.io/Figma, you can see that there's some low fidelity frames also coming out with project registration, and then just our directory. And here haven't started the pot stuff yet because we still have to get finish that over and test that out, and then also get the contract standards working group to actually review that, and then an initial audit. So initially we'll be rolling out projects by signing them up. They'll be added in the Horizon, and then having them part of our project registry, and then donating to them is the flow. And so yeah, we're preparing funding requests as well, asking for some initial funding to onboard kind of more developers and onboard more projects and get kind of the legal filing framework there. But it's been a pretty kind of heads down building week. Excited to see the announcements for the NDC election, and then we'll be good to go with our funding proposal and just iterating on the product there, and also onboarding different contributors. So yeah, thanks for coming out. I'm gonna actually stop the recording so we can answer some questions from here and kind of chop it up off the record, as it is scheme season.